Catch Cup will be the next big rotation for Go Battle League. Of course, this is not that exciting, but at the same time, I have figured out that every single time we have Catch Cup, at some point it turns up into an open Great League format, especially if you're getting higher on ELO every now and then. So I guess that since we know that stuff, I'm just gonna showcase today my best teams for Catch Cup and eventually open Great League so that you can understand what you need to be afraid of and what you should be expecting from your opponents. Not only that, but these 4 teams are gonna be extremely strong against the entire meta of Great League, so you should definitely watch till the end every single team showcase, because if you have the Pokemon, you're gonna have the advantage for sure. So now without any further ado, let's dive into team showcase number 1. Let's begin now with the first team showcase having Charjabug up in front. At the back, Cresselia and Feraligatr will form a pretty good bond for the amazing format of Open Great League. I think that this team has a lot of coverage, and this is why I begin this video with the first team showcase being this one, because I still think that you can get total coverage against the entire meta, pretty spammy as a team, able to get there to those charge attacks at a very good pace, perhaps an excellent pace, so that you can get quick works of your opponent's shields in no time at all. Feraligatr was the big MVP from this season's move update, so you can always say that this Shadow Claw is a game changer for it. I think that a Shadow Feraligatr is gonna be much more of a bigger asset to you, but if you do not even have a Shadow, feel free to use the regular one. You do not even need crunch on your Feraligatr. Hydro Cannon is gonna be your main way to go, Shadow Claw as your fast attack for sure, while for your second move I recommend going with Ice Beam to destroy down the competition, and especially those grasses or even the flyers. At the back you got Cresselia with any of the following moves: Future Sight, Moonblast or Grass Knot. Feel free to use any of these 3 and you're gonna be just fine. I recommend though going for not the Moonblast, because Grass Knot is gonna help you a ton against Mad Boys, hence Whiskas, while that Future Sight is gonna help you a little bit more against those fire types, which are also gonna be kind of a core breaker up in front if you do not have a clear solution, since Feraligatr is gonna be your main way to go over there. Overall, this team has only one weakness that I found out, and that is Basseton, but with a little bit of synergy and still switching out to your Cresselia, you might actually be able to take it out without spending any sweat at all. Moving on, we meet up with a Skarmory team. We used to use Skarmory alongside Swampert plus Shadow Drapion, which is a pretty good safe switch overall, but in this instance I recommend going for Whiskas and Serperior. The main reason for this is because Whiskas, now having access to Scald, has a better matchup against the entire meta of Great League, and not only that, now we have a debuffing move on Whiskas, which means that it can flip around a lot of negative matchups that it used to have, while at the same time you got Serperior, which can hit the opponent pretty rough. At this point I want to mention that the last time that we had Great League, I got surprised by a few of those blizzards coming up from my opposing Whiskases, so consider using that move if you feel spicy waking up one day. So now without any further ado, let's talk about the core breaker of this team, because it is Skeletons, and that Pokemon is gonna tear you down. Not only it is gonna make your life miserable against your Skarmory, but also at the back it is gonna have a much easier job against your Serperior. What I recommend doing here is to stay in with your Skarmory, sacrifice it for the greater good, and go straight for that Brave Bird. Worst case scenario, they block, so you still have the shield advantage, which means then that you can have the upper hand with the shields coming into play with your Whiskas, and even if they switch out, switch as well to your Serperior and see how it goes. I still think though that Skeletons is not gonna be that much up in front. Overall, it is a very good Pokemon to have it at the back. Some people use it as a safe switch, some others use it as a closer, so obviously at some point you're gonna encounter it with your Whiskas. So this team is looking pretty scary for a lot of teams, and that's mainly because of how good it is on its coverage side. Next up, we have a Quagsire team. At first I was kinda skeptical because I didn't know how how good the Shadow Quagsire will be for the meta. Perhaps the regular one might be much better, but with a double Mud Bomb being Shadow as well, you can get access to a lot of double shots, which is pretty great if you ask me. At the same time, you have access to a move like Stone Edge, which can help you a ton, and if you feel like you want a move that can make you even spammier than the Mud Bomb, its legacy move Aqua Tail can be there for you. However, I do not recommend going for it, because on the long term you're gonna see that Mud Bomb is gonna help you much more against steel types, and with this particular backline you might actually need that extra coverage for sure. So as a pivot, we got Shadow Drapion, which is gonna emerge as the perfect safe switch, at least it was, because after the appearance of Poliwrath with Icy Wind on the higher scales of PvP, especially in the rankings, I figured out that Poliwrath can absolutely wall you down if you do not have Sludge Bomb. So if you tend to use Shadow Drapion, consider using Sludge Bomb. It is gonna help you a ton, while you can replace that Aqua Tail with Sludge Bomb, because Crunch is your main way to go. You definitely need that move on your Shadow Drapion. Besides that though, we still got Noctowl, which is gonna return as the king of the sky, or at least the prince right now. It was demoted, but at most it is gonna be a very helpful Pokemon. It is gonna break down a lot of Annihilate / Lickitung cores, and that's mainly because of its ability to not wall down, but still it is gonna make quick work of those Pokemon in no time at all towards your advantage. Poliwrath is still gonna be a core breaker though for this team, even though we have a flyer, because it can go toe to toe up against a Quagsire, especially after the first debuff if they block your moves, and at the same time it can wall down Drapion while it still has access to the Icy Winds, which can be kinda deadly for your Noctowl. But it makes a lot of sense that it is just a soft core breaker. You can always play around it with those Mud Bombs, you can always play around it with a potential Sludge Bomb from your Shadow Drapion, or just go with the Sky Attack and deal tremendous amount of damage to its fighting side. Let's head to the final team showcase now, and we're meeting up with an ABB team style. You might be wondering, Ganeto, you got a steel and a normal type at the back, how is this an ABB team? Well, that's mainly because you are not looking at this team correctly. This is an ABB team style weak to that fighting typing at the back, which means that you need to aggressively switch in there from the start of the battle with your Lickitung into that whatever lead you have, so that you can draw out of there that fighter, and then your Metal Trascan will be left most likely with no weakness at all. I think that this team has a lot to offer, and I still think that this team is super boring to run, so I'm not gonna make a separate video on it. At least I'm not trying or hoping to make one at the moment, but who knows, it is super strong. You can always count on Lickitung to come in there to the battle, finish off the fighter, because this is how strong Lickitung can be, or just make them use at least a shield in the process, so that your Annihilate can finish off that unfinished job, and of course the Metal Trascan on the end game nuke down whatever remains alive and well. Well, the only core breaker that I found myself be in a very difficult position is that Gligar. That's mainly because of its typing. The ground moves will not be appreciated at all by that red steel, while up in front the aerial aces are still gonna be a struggle point for your Annihilate. So I recommend going for Ice Punch no matter what on your Annihilate, because I have seen a lot of Night Slash variants out there, and I do not think that they're gonna be much helpful up against a Gligar for sure. You need to stay into a Gligar lead no matter what, but if you want to switch, well, Lickitung is gonna be your main way to go, but still you're gonna struggle then if they switch out as well. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for sticking around till the end with me. It really means a lot for this channel. Before you go, as usual, leave a huge like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to catch you up later into the next one.